So, welcome to today's info session and webinar. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the ESCP MBA in International Management, and I'm here with Valentina Ullrich, who has very kindly agreed to come and do a short presentation on the importance of an MBA for entrepreneurship or career in entrepreneurship. So welcome, Valentina. Do you want to maybe say a couple of words about yourself?
Sure, thanks, Alison. Yeah, very happy to be here. And although we have finally 30 degrees in Berlin, but I'm super happy to share that session. And yes, I'm Valentina. Yes, I'm from Berlin. And yeah, I've been part of the ESCP MBA batch of 2020. So I have been the first batch that halfway through dived into slipped into Corona. Yeah, and so I finished last year in spring. And now I am a founder myself, founded my company straight after the MBA. And yeah, I'm super happy to tell you a little bit more about my journey and why I choose ESCP MBA back in the days. And yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. I forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Alison Masse. That's the first thing I should have started with. I'm the program manager for the MBA on the Berlin campus, and I'm also in charge of admissions. So now you know. I'm going to start maybe with telling you a little bit more about the school and the program for those of you who don't know. And so I hope you can all see my screen. And it won't take too long. And after that, I'll hand over to Valentina, who'll tell you a little bit more about her experience and the topic of entrepreneurship and how she experienced it with the MBA at ESCP. So if everyone can see my screen and no one has any questions, I'll just start right now. So the MBA in International Management is a 10-month program. And it's full-time and it's spread over a minimum of 2 different countries. So I don't know, I have to share. Oops, sorry. For those of you who are not familiar with ESCP, these are some main factors about the school. The school was actually the first business school created 202 years ago. So it's a very old one, and it has 6 urban campuses. So it was originally founded in Paris as a grande école, and then it spread out through the rest of Europe. It's multi-accredited, as you can see. It's well, like most of the top business schools in the world, it's something that's important when you're looking at an MBA. And we have a whole portfolio of programs ranging from bachelor's all the way to PhD in executive education. We have over 160 research professors representing 33 nationalities. So we're very international, which is a leitmotif of the school. And we've got over 7,000 students representing 120 countries, over 5,000 participants in our executive programs, and over 65,000 alumni across the world. So that's a little bit about ESCP. I won't show you the video today, but just so you know, we will be sharing the slides with you after this webinar, so you can look at the video afterwards if you wish to. But basically, the MBA in International Management was created to enable young professionals with diverse professional experience to accelerate their career or to orient it towards an international management responsibility. So I hope you do watch the video when you have time. The MBA, just to give you a short, well, more information or more details information is, so like I said, 10 months full time. It's over 2 countries of your choice, but actually you can travel more, and most people do travel more during those 10 months. We have a choice of 24 electives, which are offered over 7 different countries, which is quite a large choice for an MBA. We have 2 company consultancy projects, which I will talk more about in a minute and tell you a little bit more about them. So you have 1 in each semester. 4 international seminars, which take place throughout the year, meaning that you are together with the whole cohort of MBA students, and it's accredited by EFMD. So like I said, it's an MBA which requires you to study in different locations, so making the most of our multi-campus system. And basically you have the year is divided into 2 semesters. The first semester starts in September and goes on to mid-February, and the second semester starts at the beginning of March and lasts until July. And you have the choice of the following campuses for each semester. So you can go to Paris, London, or Turin during the first semester. And then you can choose between Berlin, Madrid, and Paris for the second semester. And you are not allowed to stay in Paris. You have to switch campus. This is a little bit more about the content of the program. So we do have a prerequisite period before the start of the program, which is online. This was always supposed to be online, pandemic or COVID apart. So it will always stay as an online. It is mandatory, but it is not full-time. So you will have some courses like language courses, you will have some career events, and you will also have some fundamentals of mathematics. Then you've got 17 courses divided over the 2 campuses. Like I said, you've got 24 electives, of which you have to choose 4. The 2 company consultancy projects, and then the 4 international seminars. These are the core courses which we offer during the 2 semesters. Everything obviously is taught in English, and the core courses are the same regardless of the campus that you choose. So the content of the courses will remain the same, but obviously the staff, the professors will change according to the campus. Saying this, a lot of our staff rotates between the campuses, meaning that it doesn't mean that if you're studying in Berlin, for example, you will have necessarily a German professor, because we also, like I said, the staff rotate between the campuses. I can see I've got some information. Yes, yes, I will share the presentation after the webinar. So this is quite a general management MBA, and we believe in learning by doing, which means that a lot of the content that you will be learning during the 2 semesters, you will be asked to apply directly. And this is where the consultancy projects come in. But of course, a lot of this involves group work, working together with your fellow classmates in smaller groups all the way throughout the year. So you will be asked to spend a lot of time, not only in the classroom with the professors and the teaching staff, but also amongst yourself, working on projects, on case studies, etc., etc. I see that we have some questions, but if you don't mind, I'll answer them at the end. I hope that's okay. Yeah. The electives is the part of the MBA which you can adapt to your specific needs or preferences. They take place towards the end of the year, usually between end of May and beginning of July. And like I said, they take place in 7 different locations. So you have the 7 different locations now in front of you. The electives are, of course, susceptible to change depending on when you are looking to join this MBA, but generally the locations will remain. And it's completely up to you which topics you choose and where you choose to study them. Every elective is a 2-day course. So they're usually spread out evenly during the week. You have Monday and Tuesday, you have an elective. Wednesday is left free for travel if you choose to travel. And then Thursday and Friday, you have another elective. These electives are not, you're not required to choose them before the end of your first semester or the beginning of your second semester. So this is not something that you have to decide now before you join the program. And also it's not something that you have to, well, you don't have to travel, or you don't have to, you can also, if you're tired of traveling or you don't want to move anymore, you are also very welcome to stay and to choose 4 electives in one location. That's completely up to you. The company consultancy projects is the most hands-on part of the program, and they are mandatory, of course, and you have 1 in each semester, meaning that you will consult on a project twice and in 2 different countries. So the objective of this basically is to familiarize yourself with the work environment and the local companies. And of course, these projects are real projects, they're not case studies, so you will be assessed by the company, but also by the teaching staff of the school. And of course, the best come out, or the best scenario, is that every year, students who do particularly well on these projects are then offered a position by the company. The way these projects work is that every campus has is approached or has a sorry, I'm losing my words now. It's almost Friday. Every campus basically gets together with different companies. These companies request our MBA students. They come and they pitch the projects to the classroom. The students are then allowed to pick a preference for the projects that they prefer. So they can pick from 1 to 3 their favorite projects. And then we divide the students into smaller groups, usually between 3 to 5 maximum. And we allocate one project to one group of students. And this 2 times in the year. I can see more questions coming in. I hope I can answer them at the end. The 4 international seminars that I spoke about earlier are problem solving and decision making. This is the first one. It takes place right at the beginning of the year. So when I said that you would travel to 2 different locations, this isn't quite right, because actually the first week, which we also call induction week or problem solving and decision making, usually takes place in Paris, meaning that the whole group of MBA students will be together on the Paris campus for the first week of September or the second week, depending on the intake on that year. Then you've got a 3-day career development seminar, but called iLeap for short, which takes place during the year, again, which involves the whole group of MBA students. Of course, there are many more career seminars, workshops, activities, company visits throughout the year. We have a department which is dedicated to the career development of the MBA students. And we also have individual career development on departments on all the campuses. So you have a good accompagnement, as they say in French, on every campus. We also dedicate now Wednesday afternoons solely to career development activities. So it's a big part of the program. Then we have the business simulation seminar, which is the first week or the 3 days at the beginning of the second semester, where once again, you're all competing against each other in what we call the business games. And you've got the closing seminar at the end of the year, where you're reunited at the end of the program. So here's a little bit more information about about the class. These are averages. So usually we have about 90 students per year, divided between the campuses, obviously. The students usually have 6 years of professional experience on average again. And the average age is about 30 years old, 29 to 30, depending on the years. And we're particularly proud of the percentage of women in our program, because it's quite high for an MBA. The nationalities, like I said, it's a very international program, not just in its the way it was built, and not just in the multi-campus approach or format, but also in its cohort. So you have very different nationalities, and this 26 is actually a little bit lower. One year we had 35 nationalities for 89 students. So just to give you an idea. As I mentioned before, a big part of this program is working together with your fellow MBA students, meaning that we expect you to do a lot of the work in groups and to gain knowledge from each other and not just from the program. And you can see also from the previous studies of the MBA students that their backgrounds are very, very diverse. This is an MBA which does not require a previous education or previous studies in business administration, meaning that it's open to absolutely anyone in terms of academic backgrounds. Of course, we would ask for very good academic backgrounds, but we also have people who studied law or literature, languages, etc., etc. We also believe that the diversity of the group enhances its productivity, and learning from each other is always, it makes it more interesting for the cohort. So you don't need a background in economics or in business to join this MBA, but you do need a good academic background and a good professional background. You have the option, I will go not too deeply into this, but if you have questions, of course, you're welcome to ask at the end, or you can always send me an email and get in touch with me after the webinar. you have, at the end of this program, you get a French accredited master's degree on top of the MBA, but you also have the option, if you should wish to get a double degree and to get a German accredited MBA on top of the one which is delivered federally by the Paris campus. If you have questions, again, I can answer that later. The application requirements are very straightforward. So we require a very good previous bachelor or master's degree from a good university, a minimum of 3 years of work experience, although we have been known to bend the rule a little bit for this, but usually 3 years is the minimum. And of course, we require you to have very good English skills, as everything is taught in English and it's a language that you will be studying in during the year. The application process is also very straightforward. We have an online application form that you are required to fill in, which is about 10 pages, but it's quite straightforward. We do ask you to upload various documents after you filled in this form, including your previous degrees and certificates and transcripts, university. We do require a reference, professional reference. One is good, 2 is better. And of course, ID, CV, and English test if you haven't lived in an English-speaking country or been working or studied in an English-speaking country. If the only thing which requires a little bit more time is that we do require GMAT or an equivalent. So you need to prepare for this, as usually they are a little bit tough. But again, we do have another option. We have an internal test to the called the SHL if you don't have a GMAT, which we are happy to make you take for free once you've finished your online application. But if you want more information on this, then you can also reach out to me. Once you finish your online application and uploaded all the documents required, the next step would be for you to be invited to an interview with the academic dean of the program on the Berlin campus. So if you are joining from one of the countries which is allocated to Berlin in terms of admissions, we have divided the world between the campuses, meaning that depending on where you will live, your campus admission campus will be different. This doesn't mean that you need to apply to study at the campus where you are being admitted. The two are completely separate. And of course, at the moment, depending on the campus, but for example, for us in Berlin, due to the pandemic, the interviews are taking place online. And last of all, the financial aspects, I can't see all of it. So the application fee, once you finish the online application, is 180 euros, which is not refundable. And then the price of the program, unfortunately, I think it's below this, so I can't get it, right, is 46,350 euros for the year. And we have various grants and scholarships which are available to students. They are listed here on this slide, but you can also find them online on the website. And of course, if you need more information, again, I'm very happy to answer any emails or to take any calls. Just a little bit about the scholarships and the grants. They are not cumulative, which means that you can apply for several different ones, but you will not be granted different ones. So you will have to choose the highest sum. The ones listed at the bottom, ESCP scholarships, you do have to apply for them, meaning that there is a procedure. You are required to write an essay, whereas the grants, there is no procedure. It is based on the excellence of your application. Sorry. And if I can turn the page, my computer's falling asleep again. Sorry. That's it. So I hope that it was clear, and I look forward to any questions at the end of this session, but I will hand over to Valentina first, and so that she can tell you more about the program and her experience, and then I'm, like I said, very happy to take any questions at the end.
Awesome, thanks a lot. So I am sharing my screen, kicking you out. Okay. So I hope So I hope we are on. I hope it's visible. Alison, tell me if
Yes, yes,
okay,
perfect. We can
awesome.
see it. Mm.
Perfect. Thanks so much for handing over. Yeah, I'll also go a few minutes through my experiences, what my take on the MBA at ESCP was like, especially from entrepreneur glasses. And then also, same as for Alison, I'm super happy afterwards to answer your questions or, yeah, if you want to dive deeper into certain topics or ask me for the truth. So you're very welcome. So yes, I already said I'm Valentina. I was part of the 2020 batch of the MBA, and I am from Munich originally. And I am, as I said, now would count myself an entrepreneur, as I founded my company last year. And so maybe we can start before we dive into like, why did I do an MBA, like an academic degree to become an entrepreneur? I would do a short introduction, what I did before the MBA. So giving you a rough frame, what my background is like and what I do now. And then I'm super happy to share my experiences directly with the MBA. So I studied my bachelor's back in the days in communication science and psychology, and it's a little bit what Alison already said. We have like very diverse profiles at the MBA ESCP, and I was definitely one of them, being a little bit off and also not economic. But straight after my bachelor, I already started on going on an entrepreneurial path, so to say. I started at Rocket Internet, which is one of the biggest incubators in Europe. And I was there supporting the launch of more than 5 startups to the market on a global scale. Also across multiple verticals. I was working for marketplaces, fintech, e-commerce. So yeah, already breathing in the startup world. I then also founded my own agency, which was around influencer marketing. And then most recently, before I started my MBA, I co-created a female direct-to-consumer nutrition brand. And that was also like after 2.5 years of doing that, which became very successful, I knew I needed the next step. And I knew the next step for me would be to found my own company. And I also had no idea in what field and what it's going to be about. And that's when I decided for the MBA and also for the ESCP MBA in specific. But maybe before I list all of the reasons why, just quickly on what am I doing now actually? Why am I talking to you guys? So yeah, I founded a company last year, which is called Luba Health. We are now 1 year old almost. Luba Health is a women's health company where we are looking at different pain points, also from a medical perspective, that women are having during their cycle. And we are having natural remedies such as CBD, which is like part of a cannabis plant, to help women to better like solve these pain points, so to say. So yeah, I'm the CEO founder of that company. So let's call myself an entrepreneur. But before I started my studies at MBA ESCP, I had exactly this question that I had in the beginning on my slide was like, is the MBA like an academic title, like, or an academic year really what will make me an entrepreneur? And then I asked myself, okay, what is an entrepreneur at the end of the day and what defines it, right? And I think we all know this kind of like classical entrepreneur that already, as he was or she was 7 years old, sold lemonade in their neighborhoods, and like this out of the book picture perfect entrepreneur. But as you could see from my CV, also like I was working for a lot of time, like for long years in the entrepreneur field. And let me tell you, this is not true. So let's quickly look at what rather makes an entrepreneur, because that identifying this really helped me to decide for an MBA. So for me, it's always super important to say an entrepreneur is not born ready. An entrepreneur needs certain skills in order to be able to either like join a very young startup or found their own startup. And I always divide these skills in 2 parts. It's for me soft skills and it's for me hard skills. And also what Alison already showed you in the beginning, how the whole MBA is structured, it's also circling exactly around these two types of skills, right? And to list all of the skills that would make an entrepreneur would definitely like exceed this session what we're having here. But I want to go just shortly into it because it also helps to understand how I chose my MBA. So on the soft skills side, definitely the willingness to no longer think in terms of a work-life balance, which doesn't mean you have to work for hours and hours and hours. It just means that an entrepreneur is always passionate, right? He's always there with the heart. You definitely have to be an agile personality. The multiple times of you kill your baby means you develop something and then completely skip it because it's not working is immense. And the next thing is like you have to be really able to have a strong vision and a strong opinion. There are going to be a lot of people from the right side and the left side telling you what to do and what not to do, and you have to be really strong leading your company in the future you're seeing. And the most important soft skill is definitely understanding people, like being like emotionally smart, as we say it, which also leads over to the first sort of hard skill, the right network. Something we'll come to definitely also in regards of ESCP. And of course, something I realized over the years, which is super important for an entrepreneur, is being more the profile of a generalist. So you are kind of understanding all the departments of a company, and you know how these companies are built from scratch. So when I was thinking about doing an MBA, with knowing that I want to prepare myself in this entrepreneur direction, I knew that what I wanted from an MBA is that it gives me the time and the frame to really develop my creative ideas. And as I told you, I had none before I started the program, which is for a lot of people always like the first hit, so to say, and be able to kind of test and explore my ideas in a safe environment. So I do not have to quit my job and stand there, but I get an environment that is also like not just safe, but fruitful, you know, for what I'm developing. Definitely grow personally, and the MBA is very intense. I'm going to talk about it. So it's definitely going to challenge you. And then also what I said about the general profile, generalistic profile, I really wanted to dig more into all aspects of a business, right? I wanted to understand accounting, strategy, supply chain, and how it all comes together. Because as I said, I also never studied an economic degree before. And of course, building a strong network, also a point we're going to come to, but Alison already mentioned it. That was also a huge point for me. And so I came with this list, and then I was like, which university would be like the most fruitful here for me? And I decided for the ESCP for 4 main reasons, again, regarding my entrepreneurial kind of like motivation. First, the ESCP has its own incubator, which is called the Jean-Baptiste Say Institute. And it has very dedicated programs that you can enroll during your studies. But I'm also going to go a little bit in depth in a few seconds, which was a big plus point for me, obviously. The ESCP is very multicultural. You can study in over 2, definitely in over 2, because you also have the electives in over 2 countries. And out of the choices, there are 3 at least cities which are like the Silicon Valleys of Europe, like London, Paris, Berlin. That's where the entrepreneur scene, so to say, is going on in Europe. As also Alison was mentioning a little bit, the ESCP MBA is very personal, very much like customized to you, and looking at very individual kind of like, Förderung, I don't even know what it is in English. And you have like individual career development, you have coaches that you can have sessions with very highly qualified staff. And the last reason is you can customize the program a little bit towards entrepreneurship. Yeah, you have over 50 electives that you can choose as you want. You have very diverse courses, dedicated entrepreneurship courses. So these were like the main motivations for me to say, I believe ESCP is the best choice for me, regards of that. So how did it go? Did it go well, and did it provide me with everything that I was hoping for? So how was my journey while I was doing my MBA? My MBA was really the kickoff for my company that I built afterwards. I was from beginning on also very focused on it, trying to have my regular courses, shaping them in the way I wanted, but also leveraging all these extras. So I started with weekly personal coachings that I really used to identify my interests, where are my talents. I challenged that with a coach. We were looking at, okay, the fields where you're interested in, is there a need? Is there a market? What could be a product? What could be a service that you could do? So really like seeing how that all comes together, and I call it the ideation phase, so to say, where I then afterwards was part of the private mentorship program, which is also offered by ESCP. So you can get a dedicated one-on-one mentor that is rolling with you for as long as you wish for. And for me, it's ESCP alumni. And mine was a founder himself in Paris, and he challenged me then after the ideation phase on every step that comes afterwards, and helped me really to bring that step by step a little bit more to life, seeing also who are the customers, how can we challenge the product, is it really wanted, etc. And then it really like peaked in the second semester, where you have this dedicated entrepreneur course. And I remember I told my group that I was enrolling with on that course that I had this idea and I really want to pursue it after the master or after the MBA. And I asked them if they would be happy to help me work on that, which is the greatest experience ever, because it's kind of like getting your first little team. And so yeah, that was the kind of months where I wrote my first business case for my existing company now. I designed my first pitch deck for it, and I actually also presented it at the end of the course to real investors. So got the real hard glasses on it already straight away. So this was really how I leveraged this MBA to really straight after I finished, found my own company. And of course, a massive, huge part was specifically the Jean-Baptiste Say Institute. So as I mentioned, I was enrolling there in the so-called starter program, which is a program that is rolling on a frequent basis next to your courses. So it is a lot of work, but super worth it. So they are offering even like physical space in the university, where all the entrepreneurs that are like rolling with this incubator are sitting. And it's really like a little like workstation, and you can come there, you can exchange your ideas with the entrepreneurs that already have founded their companies, that already are successful, and they can really give you feedback, you can use their knowledge. You also get like mingled with other entrepreneurs to keep on tracking your progress, meeting also frequently. And you get all the tools that it needs in the beginning to kind of like, yeah, get started with your business. You can also, after the startup program, which goes like for a certain amount of weeks, and then you have basically the final, where you have the chance to present what you did also to investors. But you can then afterwards also enroll in further programs if you are really like progressing, which is super beautiful. And what I like the most about being at the Jean-Baptiste Say is that you constantly have the exchange with the, let's say, outside, with the economic world, right? So of course, all your professors and all the academic stuff, they are all also like in the on the economical side of things. They're not just a professor in real life. So, but still with the Jean-Baptiste Say, you really had the chance to be close to the actual markets. And that was a huge plus, right? You have all these real entrepreneurs and real investors coming and challenging with you. What Alison also said about the consultancy projects, I also had a project with a VC, so with a venture capitalist in Paris, which also helped me iterating my idea. So you see how this all comes together, really like pushing in the direction that you want to evolve within the MBA. So this was how I used it. Still people are coming now to me asking me, okay, Valentina, but what concretely did the MBA bring you? Like, can you tell me something where you can now feel the difference, you know, that you now can say, oh, thank God I did the MBA. So I try to pin down some of them to also show you the diversity of the different things that now help me as an entrepreneur to lead my company. But again, like to list all of them would be too long. So let's just look at some of the the things that really I can on a frequent basis detect and be like, thank God I did that back in the year. First of all, you are forced to give frequent presentations, talks, speeches. If you want it or not, this is like a really stepping out of the comfort zone. And these skills that you're going to learn there is definitely, especially for me right now, every partner I get on board, every investor I get on board, every team, every employer I get on board, right? This is what helps me getting my ideas across, right? Getting like across what I want to get across. It's super valuable. And these are the things you are not born with, to come back to the beginning. These are things that you learn by doing. It's the same with leading group works. This is also something you will have to do. Learning leadership, learning management. And this is also, I'm not born with like being able to lead a team. I had to learn it by little steps, doing it, getting there also out of my comfort zone. Another point is for me, what I also said earlier, getting really this basic knowledge in business departments or aspects of the whole business that I have never done. I have never done accounting, and I know why it's not a full-time job for me. But let me tell you also this, as an entrepreneur, most likely in the beginning, you're not going to have the budget to hire a dedicated person for that. Equals, you have to do it on your own. So if you do not understand how to do it, then the company won't run. So I was really leveraging this diversity of the courses and really trying to everywhere get the basic understanding that makes me able to lead my company in that field. Although I'm not an expert and specialist then there, but I know what to expect, and I know how to do it in the beginning on my own. And the last parts are definitely the most important ones. And also what I said in the beginning, the network. I think right now, over 65,000 alumni at ESCP. You have all the professor and academic staff, that are also very well connected, always happy to help. You have your classmates, which afterwards also go into the different jobs and positions, and you still help each other out, make the connections. And also for me personally, due to that network, I also got connected to investors for my company. And because of this whole like environment, I was also able to just close my fundraising round. I raised a higher 6-digit euro amount for my company, all because I knew how to pitch it. I had the right contacts. So this is just a little overview of the takeaways that I now in my daily life have that definitely have from the MBA. So I think it holds true when I'm saying without my MBA at ESCP, I wouldn't be where I am now. And just some little tips at the end, and then maybe you have some more questions or want to dive a little bit deeper on another aspect. Because I was in your situation trying to decide what is the right step for me and why would I do it? Is it worth it? Which is a legit question. First of all, in a familiar environment, you will not get a creative push. This is always something that when people tell me, I feel like I want to do something else and I maybe want to found something, I'm just going to start next by my job because I also don't have the courage to quit it just and fully jump into that risk. But let me tell you, this most likely will not happen. Step number 2 is like, get out of your comfort zone, right? The MBA is 10 months, super intense. You'll be on the road a lot. You'll meet the people. You also have 2 different cities plus more. In each city, you also have a different batch of classmates because it's mixing, right? So you have even more like exchange. And this will definitely be like a multiplicator for you, especially with the personal skill development. And also you have the chance to be, as I said, in the most entrepreneurial hubs that are out there. As I also said, leverage the fact that you will have professional support, free coaching, all of this customized to you. Some people are spending a fortune. Now, I have friends that I founded a company, they have to spend a fortune on that. And at ESCP, it's such a good support that you get. I also said, deepen your knowledge in the areas you haven't touched so far. Enroll with an MBA where you can really get the broad range of what is important. And to end with, so to say, again, the people business, do it. It's going to be the experience that will change you so much personally, helps you a lot dealing with different cultures, different industry backgrounds. Well, what Alison also mentioned in the beginning, and I did, so many different glasses and viewpoints on things that are just for you so fruitful, especially as if you would like to be an entrepreneur, you most likely are a creative mind, to really empower this. And yeah, so these are my takes. This was my MBA experience at ESCP, and now I'm a happy founder, and now I'm happy to answer some questions you might have, or if you want to dive a little bit deeper into something. Otherwise, yeah, you can of course also follow up with me if you have questions afterwards. And yeah.
Thank you for this amazing presentation. Yeah, thank you, Valentina. It was really great.
Sure.
There, I can see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, what Valentina said, so I completely agree, of course. What I forgot to mention, but luckily Valentina brought up, I didn't say, but it's a very tough program. And I forgot to mention that there is over 550 contact hours within those 10 months, meaning that it really is a very intense year, which, as was clearly demonstrated just now, has its fruits, and it's worth it, but you have to be ready to put in a lot of work. Yeah. So I know that there were some questions while I was talking earlier. So I'll go back and see if I missed some, and if I don't answer your question, or if I didn't see it, please don't hesitate to write again. So regarding the slides, yes, of course, we will share both the sets of slides, so Valentina's and mine, when the webinar is over. The graduation, if you've completed a degree in English, or if you've worked in an English-speaking environment for several years, then you are exempt from taking an English test. We are not interested in making you prove to us that you have a perfect English. It's just that, like I said, since the program is entirely in English, it doesn't make sense for you to join it if you don't have the required level to follow the courses. But so if you've studied in English or worked in an English-speaking environment, then you are not required to take an English test. And we have a question regarding the timelines for the next intake. So just so you know, we will be starting the online phase around the 30th of August. I have to read from it. And the actual physical start of the year, when you all meet together, will be on the 24th of September. And then you will have again a break, between the two semesters. So the break will be from February the 11th to February the 28th. And the academic year will finish on July 8th. These are the very broad timelines. If you wish to have more information, of course, you can always reach out to me and I can send you the information. The finance and loans availabilities, that's a question again. If you reach out to me separately, I can of course answer. It's quite a long answer because there are different options. You will also find these options on the financials and fees and financials page of the ESCP MBA website. Where you have different options depending on your nationality, on your current country of residence, etc., etc. But like I said, the easiest, at least you should definitely try to apply for a scholarship or to obtain a grant if you have a very good application. And then, yes, if you don't find the information that you need on the website, of course, I'm more than happy to send it to you via email or again to schedule a call and tell you more about it. The admission related timelines. So usually we finish earlier, but due to the current pandemic situation, we're a little bit more flexible when it comes to admissions. So we do admissions this year, at least will be running until the end of July, maybe until the beginning of August. But yes, so you still have a little bit of time to apply. Do keep in mind that the GMAT or the logic test, whichever format of test you choose to take, requires a little bit of practice or a lot of practice, depending on So you will need a little bit of time for this. And also you need to keep in mind that we need to make sure that the classes are relatively equal on all the campuses, which means that the later you leave it to apply to the program, the more the chances are that the campus of your choice or the first choice is no longer available, simply because we can't have 60 people on one campus and 10 on another. It doesn't happen very often, but just in case, I would highly recommend that you apply before the very last deadlines. I hope I've answered your questions. Are there any more questions from, or have I answered the questions to your satisfaction? I think this is more for Valentina.
Yes. Okay, I'll answer the question. Everybody can see that still in the, so you already launched your business. Congratulations. That's very great, first of all. Yes, it's true. The MBA program is very intense, and also normally like working next by or stuff like this is definitely not possible. But as I also said, this whole development of my business was also running next by everybody else doing their courses, same as for the incubator program. So if it's your dedication and passion, you can definitely like leverage that, take your business with you into the MBA and really like make it grow there, let it be challenged and seeing really where you need support and help. It's intense, but definitely doable. I also basically developed my company during that time. Yeah, so I could totally imagine that this would be a great chance then for you. But I mean, I cannot also like, I do not know what your business is like. And of course, it's different depending on what stage you're already in. But I would say it's rather a chance than too much. Yeah.
Thank you. A more concrete question, the GMAT score required, we're looking for a minimum of 600. So this is the answer to that. Of course, we do look at the entire application, not just the GMAT score. So if you have a couple of points below, don't panic. And again, get in touch with me if you're interested in the program, so we do encourage people first, before they start filling in the application form, to get in touch. So first contact, maybe have a chat, see what your plans are, how the program would be a good fit for you, etc., etc. So I would definitely recommend, first of all, getting in touch with me or with the campus of your choice, and maybe have a call and exchange on your plans and show us your CV, and then we can see from there. Yes, of course, you can schedule a call with me, and my email and contact information are at the end of the slides, which we will send to you after this. But I can also, for those of you who want it, write it down right now in the chat for everybody. And of course, you can send me an email right now if you want. Okay, does anyone have any more questions? Like Valentina said, if you do think of something which you didn't think of today and you want to get in touch, that's completely possible with both of us, actually, by email, LinkedIn. So if you can't think of anything right now, but you realize tomorrow that you forgot a very important question, then it's not a problem. You can always reach out to us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, well then, if there are no more questions, for those of you who are in Berlin, enjoy the heat and the sunshine while it's still here, because what's coming, it doesn't look so good. And for those of you who are not in Berlin, thank you so much for joining. Have a really nice evening. Thank you, Valentina, again for being here today.
Thank you so much.
And
for me.
yeah, and we look forward to your emails and messages. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah.
Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.